A bookish cozy day in is like the ultimate self-care.
I don't know if my brain has capacity for this right now.
I'm hoping that she's going to be an absolute badass.
Do you just want to be the main character? Maybe if I looked at like the English words, that would help. So this is so difficult, but
I need to read blurbs more often. The plans for today are... Hi my lovelies, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Chanel, and in 2026 I decided I was going to start making some bookish content, such as reading vlogs, readathons and cozy bookish days in, which is exactly what we're going to do today. So if that sounds like a bit of you, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around. Now guys, I have a confession. I have not been looking after myself very well recently. I'm starting to feel really burnt out and in real need of a self-care day, and that is what we're going to do today. But we're going to make it bookish, because for me, a bookish cozy day in is like the ultimate self-care. The plans for today are, we're going to do some reading together. We're going to start a new book. Now, I am so excited to start this book. It has been an anticipated read for me for a little while, and it is Riftborn by Greenwich and Lennox. Now, if you haven't seen this all over your social media pages, like, where have you actually been? Because this started popping off like a good couple of months ago. It's now being picked up for Trag Publishing, and I think Riftborn actually comes out in April. But as soon as I heard that this was getting traditionally published, I ran to Amazon and picked up a copy. Look at the plot. I also want to start making my TBR prompt jar. When I started my booktube channel, I was like, the one video that I have to do is a TBR jar picks my books for the month. So we need to make the TBR prompts for the TBR jar. So that's one thing that we're going to definitely be doing today. Another thing that I want to get done is updating my reading journal. So I actually started a reading journal this time last year, and it's the first time I've ever like done a reading journal before, and I absolutely loved it. I need to update it for November and December, and then we can also look at planning my 2026 spreads, because we are about to go into April and I still don't have a reading journal for 2026. Another thing that I want to get started on is I want to start making my book nook. I was so lucky, I was gifted 2 book nooks for Christmas last year, and I actually haven't started making either of them. My shelves are in dire need of reorganisation, and I would love to have a book nook ready to go for when I finally get around to reorganising my bookshelves. So we are going to make a start on that today as well. So we have lots of bookish activities to do today. I am so excited. I have been waiting to have my bookish self-care day for what feels like forever, and it is so needed. So let's grab ourselves a drink, let's get comfy, let's get cozy, and let's get into today's video. So I am set up and just about to jump into Riftborn. There was a lot of hype around this book series, but in particular The Ascended. Now I've seen some people rate The Ascended like absolute god tier 6 stars, and the authors have said that you need to read the Riftborn and Duskbound before reading The Ascended just to get the most impact. So that's kind of how I ended up picking up Riftborn. I am so guilty of seeing a book go viral, seeing everyone rating it and loving it, and just automatically adding it to my TBR, knowing very little about the book. So I am actually going to read the blurb. Have you come to say hello? Yay. So I am actually going to read the blurb on this one, which again is something I just don't do, and I probably should do more. So he was striking in a cold-blooded kind of way, like his beauty was tinged with poison, unassuming, alluring even. I brought my eyes to meet his. Via Riftborn, the words dripped from his lips like blood from a dagger. Okay, I'm sat. So, 20 years after a rebellion branded her an outcast, Via Riftborn navigates a city rife with prejudice so deep it's often deadly. I love an underdog. I love it. I love when I read stories about someone who's just so underestimated. It often means that they're going to turn out to be an absolute badass, and I love to see it. But she harbours a secret, one that would pin an even larger target on her back. A hidden power within her is growing, threatening to destroy everything she built for herself. Enter the elusive General Larix Ashford, who is building a unit of powerful wielders within the Guard to face a growing threat. Wraiths of darkness devour the western border, leaving a trail of death and destruction in their wake. When Fear's powers erupt and 2 daughters of nobility are seemingly dead, General Ashford offers her a chilling choice. Join the She Guard, I think I'm saying that right, She Guard, or face execution, because Fear might be the only hope for the Isle's survival. Obviously, she will be. She's going to be I'm hoping that she's going to be an absolute badass. Torn between surrendering to the chaos of becoming a weapon for those who took everything from her, Fia must confront her growing feelings for the general and face a dark truth that could shatter everything she's ever known. Okay. It sounds like she's been hiding these powers. It comes to light that she actually is super powerful. And all of a sudden, the people that took everything from her are wanting her on their team. That's what I'm getting from the blurb. And I need to read blurbs more often. Like, this sounds so good. This definitely sounds like something that I am going to absolutely eat up. Now, I have heard like mixed reviews around this. I've heard that the writing isn't great, and I know that this has been traditionally published now and rewritten, but I'm going to go in and read the indie version because I've got the indie book, I've got the indie audiobook as well, and I've got the indie version downloaded onto my Kindle. But I know that the traditionally published one may be slightly different. I'm guessing the story is going to be the same, because we've got Just Bound, which is the second in the series. It's already been written. So I don't think the plot will change, but I think they may be rewriting it just to make the writing a little bit better. So let's stop yapping. I'm actually going to go and sit outside in my egg chair. We cleaned up the garden and cleaned the egg chair over the weekend, just kind of getting it ready for spring. I literally spent about 75% of my summer last year in my egg chair reading, and exactly what I plan to do this year as well. So let's go grab our drinks, go sit outside and start Riftborn. I am now on chapter 2 of Riftborn, and I am getting all of the feels. Like, I am remembering exactly why romantasy is my top genre and why I love it so much. I absolutely love a setup for a new fantasy world. Like, I love meeting new characters, finding out about the world. I always rate the first book in like a fantasy or romantasy quite high because of the excitement of just being in like a new world and meeting new characters. Like, I eat it up every single time. It's probably my ADHD like thriving with the excitement and the newness, but yeah, I'm one chapter in and so far so good. I grabbed a snack, which I've already nearly eaten, and I've got everything that I need, and I've actually started making my TBR prompt jar. She looks so cute. That is an old coffee jar that I don't use anymore. I picked some ombre card up from the range. It was actually featured in one of my other videos where I was doing a reading vlog on the lead up to our in-person book club, so if you haven't watched that already, please go check it out. But I did pick up some ombre card when I went to the range, and I just cut them into lots of random different shapes. It's kind of triggering me that they're not all the same size, but we move. And I've just started looking for prompts that I can put in my TBR prompt jar. So I have a long list here that I kind of got inspiration from like other people on YouTube who have done their TBR jars, and also like on Pinterest. The next one is a book that has been on your shelf for the longest. That is such a good one, because I bought so many books when I first started my reading journey as like an adult, which was back in 2023. I did that thing when you join Book Talk and you see everyone's beautiful Billy bookshelves with all of the Chestnut Spring series and all of the Windy City series, and I literally went and spent all my money at the Works, which for anyone that's not from the UK is like a really cheap bookstore. So I do have like books that I literally bought years ago that I just haven't got around to reading. There's a lot of romance on my TBR that when I initially started my reading journey, I thought I was going to kind of read, but then ended up kind of picking up more fantasy and romantasy, and then have just kind of been in that genre for the last couple of years. But I definitely need to prioritise my physical TBR because there are so many books on my bookshelf that I just haven't got around to reading yet. A book with a number in the title. I don't even know what I'd pick off the top of my head for that one, but in the jar you go. This is actually so fun. I'm just gonna lock in and write as many of these out as I can. I'm gonna try and fill the jar up so we've got a really good starting jar. So let's lock in and let's get this TBR jar finally finished. Fairy Loot edition. So this one is so exciting because I finally got off the Fairy Loot waiting list. This is going to be my first month of getting my Romantasy Fairy Loot subscription box. I am so excited. When I got the email, like, I was in complete disbelief. It literally felt like Christmas. So I'm excited that I can actually put this in the TBR prompt jar. I have just finished making some TBR prompts for my TBR prompt jar. This has got me so excited for picking my TBR for next month. And she's looking healthy. Like, we've got quite a few prompts in there. I think I'm probably going to have to get a bigger jar because trying to get to some of the prompts at the bottom is quite difficult. But for now, she will do. I've wanted to make a TBR prompt jar for the longest time. And not only so I can do like TBR prompt videos, but also because I get really bad decision fatigue when I am picking a book. I have so many books on my TBR and it can get so overwhelming. So I'm hoping that this prompt jar will just make it a little bit more fun and really help to guide my decisions when I am picking my TBR. I very much am a mood reader, but I also like structure, which makes absolutely no sense. This year so far, I haven't officially picked a monthly TBR, and I've just kind of been picking and choosing as I go along. And I have managed that way, but I do have to say I am missing the structure of knowing exactly what I want to try and read at least that month. So this is going to be really helpful in picking my TBR for April. Also, an update with Riftborn. I am on chapter 6, so I've managed to make quite a healthy dent in it this morning. I did about nearly an hour outside physically reading, and then I have been listening to the audiobook whilst making my TBR prompt jar. So we are getting through it. Now that I've done my TBR jar, and because we are set up on here, I am going to go grab my reading journal so I can go through and update my reading journal from the back end of last year, and then also we can start planning my 2026 spreads. I might also grab some lunch because I'm feeling really peckish. So this is my 2025 reading journal. I absolutely love this journal. It's the first time I've actually tried journaling and I found it so therapeutic, also really motivating. I feel like I managed to smash my reading goal for 2025, partly because I was like updating this monthly to keep on track. So I started my journal with a rating system and then also reading goals for 2025. Now, I did initially set my reading goals for 2025 to 60 books and I ended up reading 99. So we have a few more books here that we need to colour in. I'm not going to add any more books, but yeah, I absolutely smashed my reading goal for last year. Something I'm actually really, really proud of. Like, to have read 99 books is just so wild to me. I then did a monthly tracker. I loved this. I felt like it kept me so motivated. I do need to update November and December and also the 25 in 2025. So these are the books that I thought that I was going to read, or that I was hoping that I was going to be able to read by the end of 2025. Now, I did tick off quite a few of these. We have Spark of the Everflame. That was like 5-star, like god tier series for me. Magnolia Parks, Zodiac Academy, God of Malice, one of my first dark romances, Binding 13. That was on the list for 2025 and I ended up reading all of them apart from releasing 10 in 2025. There's a few on here that I didn't read. Reign of Shadow and Endings, but I did finish Lady in Darkness series, so I was wanting to read that before starting the Reign of Shadow and Endings. A Cot Cruel and Lovely is still on the TBR. Divine Rivals, I need to get round to reading that. I think that's on my 26 in 26 actually. Manacled, I didn't read, but I did read Alchemized, so I'm kind of counting that. Blood of Hercules, Legendborn. Every single month I was like, I need to read Legendborn, and I just haven't got around to reading it. So that is definitely top of the list of books that I want to read in 2026. Empire of the Vampire, From Blood and Ash, and Lightlark. Then we have anticipated reads of the year. So these were all more so than anticipated. These were more like the new releases for the year, and I did manage to read all of them apart from Alchemy of Secrets, The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk, and The Rose Bargain. They're the only ones that I didn't get around to reading last year. Then I had a book of the month page, so we do need to update this. I need to choose my book of the month for November and December, and then also we will be able to find out what my book of the year was. I love this spread, but I have to say it was so hard to choose a book of the month, so I feel like it's going to be impossible to pick the book of the year. Then we have a cute little Dutch door moment with all of my series that I'm currently in the middle of. I will have to check if there's any series that I need to add to this from last year. Then we have an A to Z challenge, so I need to go through my reads in November and December and check if I did read any beginning with a J, X, Y or a U, and hopefully we'll be able to complete the A to Z challenge. And then also book bingo. This was so fun. I love doing this. I did read a scary book. I know that I read a book by a black author, but I didn't do a buddy read, so that's sad. But again, I loved this spread. This was so much fun. And that's kind of all the spreads that I had in 2025. I wanted to make it short and sweet. I didn't want it to have to be something that I'd have to sit down and spend hours upon hours updating each month, because then I knew that it just wouldn't really be realistic for me to keep up with it. So I picked a couple of spreads that I had seen on like Pinterest and kind of kept to the minimum really. Apart from November and December though, every other month I was consistent and kept it up to date, which for someone with ADHD, I think like pat on the back for me. So I've grabbed myself some lunch. I'm going to sit down, update November and December in the reading journal, and then I will show you what the final 2025 reading journal is looking like and what my thoughts are for the 2026 reading journal. I have nearly completed my reading journal for 2025. I just need to pick a book of the year. So I made this spread where I have all of my monthly favourites, and I've added my monthly favourite from November, which was The Wrath of the Fallen, which is the fourth book in the Book of Asriel series. And I've added my December favourite, which was Lady of Starfire, which is the last book in the Lady of Darkness series. I have written down all of my favourites from each month of 2025, and then I've put them into this chart and dwindled them down to these three. So we have Onyx Storm, Diabound, and my favourite from November and December was The Wrath of the Fallen. This was so much fun to do, but I knew that choosing a book of the year was going to feel really difficult because I loved each one of those books for different reasons. Onyx Storm is obviously the third book in the Fourth Wing series. It's one of my favourite series. I literally have a tattoo of Andana and Ten, so like I am a super fan. Of course that was going to be my favourite from January and February. My favourite from like middle of the year was Diabound. I remember reading this when I was away at a caravan park on holiday for the weekend, and I booked a caravan for me and my husband to go and just read for the whole weekend. And honestly, it was just the best experience. I absolutely devoured that book. So it definitely was one of my favourites from like the spring, summertime last year. And then we have The Wrath of the Fallen. The Book of Asriel, again, is up there with one of my absolute favourite book series. So I knew that that was definitely going to be in the running for Book of the Year. So this is so difficult, but this is so hard. This is so hard. It's between Diabound and Onyx Storm. Like, I love The Wrath of the Fallen, and the cliffhanger at the end was absolutely wild. But I just vividly remember reading both Onyx Storm and Diabound. I remember being in an absolute state after reading Onyx Storm, which it takes a lot for me to actually cry at a book. So the fact that like I was in a state after that book, like it definitely has stayed with me. And then Diabound, the whole reading experience of reading Diabound was just amazing because I was away for the weekend. I literally binged it. And the story itself was really addictive, and it was such a good setup for a series, and I am so excited for the second book to come out in May. I think it's going to have to be Onyx Storm. I literally have a tattoo based on that book series. Like, it can't not be Onyx Storm. Diabound was really close though, really close. And we have it, Book of the Year. That is so exciting. I literally love this reading journal. In terms of my 2026 spreads, I think I'm just gonna copy and paste them. I spent so much time like researching and creating, drawing, designing all of these spreads,
And honestly, there's not one of them that I would change. So I'm like, why fix something that's not broken? I don't think I'm going to have enough time to start designing the spreads, but I feel really good knowing exactly what I want to do with my reading journal, and that is going to be on the to-do list for this weekend. I'm going to eat my lunch and I'm going to carry on listening to Riftborn. I am currently on chapter 8, so we've managed to get through quite a good chunk of it in a couple of hours. So far we're getting a really good setup of the world and the politics, and Fia has accidentally shown her powers to the general who is now trying to recruit her, and she's not having any of it. She is like, I am running away. I do not want to be here. I am not doing this. I cannot be at the hands of the people that have caused so much pain and hurt. So that's currently where we're at the moment. I fear she's not going to have a choice in the matter, obviously, from the blurb, because I now read blurbs. I know she's not going to have a choice in the matter, but I am really liking the pacing. I'm also not minding the writing. Like, I'm not seeing a massive problem with the writing style. I feel like it's easy to comprehend. It's not overcomplicated, and I'm really liking the audiobook as well. So far I have no notes and no complaints. So we're just going to carry on reading Riftborn, and I'm going to finish my lunch and we're going to get ready to start making a book nook. I'm now on chapter 13. I did just sit down to have my lunch and listen to a little bit more of the audiobook. Every single time. Do you just want to be the main character? Yeah? I did actually sit down to just have some lunch and listen to the audiobook, and I really started getting into it. So I just thought, you know what? I do really want to make my book nook, but this is also my self-care day. So if I want to lay here and read for a little bit longer, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. We are now like fully set up in this world, and Fia has said that she will work with the general, which I kind of knew was going to happen. And we've now got the added like military setting. I get a sense that we're going to have like a trainer and trainee type romance going on, and they're not enemies to lovers. They just strongly dislike each other at this point. So I'm guessing there'll be a lot of tension, especially in the training scenes, which I love. I love a war college. I love like a military setting. So I'm going to read a couple more chapters and then hopefully we can get started on the book nook. It's time. It's finally time to start the book nook. I don't know how much of it we're going to get made today, but we're going to make a start. I did actually end up getting 2 book nooks for Christmas, so I have chosen this one, which is like a sunshine town. I don't know if you can see, but like it's got like a little bookstore, a little cafe, lots of plants and some little kittens. It looks so cute, and it also has a light, so when it's like on the bookshelf on an evening, I can like put the light on and it will just look so magical. I cannot wait to finally have this done and up on my bookshelf. So I'm going to stop yapping and we're just going to crack on and see how we get on. I've never made anything like this before. It says that it's 246 pieces and it's DIY, so that means like it's almost like a bit like a jigsaw puzzle, because I was like worried that I'd need like glue to be able to put this together, but you don't need any glue, which is good because I don't have any. So from what it says, I think we just kind of like put the bits together. Oh dear, I don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to give it a try. I am going to carry on listening to Riftborn because I'm really getting into it now. I think I'm on like chapter 15, 100 and odd pages into it, and I'm like, I need to keep reading. I need to know what happens next. I'm struggling to get into the box. I don't know how I'm supposed to make up this like 246 piece model. Literally can't get into the box. Yay! We're nearly there, we're nearly in, guys. Have you ever seen anyone struggle to get into a box, honestly? Ah, I found it. Guys, this is a project. I don't know if my brain has capacity for this right now. I thought it didn't need glue, but it might actually need glue. Ew. Okay guys, I completely underestimated how complex making a book nook would be. I literally thought like slot a few pieces in, a bit like a jigsaw, fantastic, off you go. Like this is gonna have to be something I should go over weeks and weeks, because there is a lot of steps in this. Like from step 1, we are painting and we do need glue. Do we get glue? Is this glue? This is glue. It's fine. We've got glue, guys. It's fine. There is so many words on this page. Maybe if I looked at like the English words, that would help. Yeah, fantastic. We'll start with the English words. White latex, I'm guessing, I'm hoping, is glue. It's latex glue? Latex glue. Yeah. I mean, I hope it is because I actually don't have any glue, so that's what we're gonna be using to glue it together. Okay, it is fine. We're just gonna take it step by step. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna start at step number 1. Okay, let's go. It's so cute. They literally provide everything. We've got pen and a little tiny paintbrush. Yeah. You know what? I might give this to my son for a bit of physics revision. Physics? Yeah, physics, right? I think I'm done for the day. I've literally not even scratched the surface. I've put this together, which is like the front of the Sunshine Town, and I've made this cute little post box with a little birdie on top, and that has taken me about half an hour. I also had to stop listening to the audiobook because I was like, this takes too much concentration. Like, I am not listening to the book because I am trying to work out where piece G8 is that I need to attach to H9. I thought this would be like a really nice, relaxing activity, but it's actually starting to stress me out. So we're going to call it a day with the book nook, and we're going to go sit down and read a little bit more of Riftborn. I am really enjoying this so far. I don't know if it's because like it's a new world, new magic systems, and the newness of it all that is just making me just want to binge this book. There's numerous times today I've had to be like, okay, slow down. We can't read this in a day, right? But I'm currently on page 156, and I think I'm going to leave it there for today. I might listen to a little bit more later on, but I need to pick my daughter up from school. So that is kind of the end of my Bookish Cosy day in. It has felt amazing to just have a full day of reading and also doing a couple of other like cozy bookish activities. I am really glad that I updated my reading journal because now I can just get going with my 2026 reading journal and updating that monthly. And I made my TBR prompt jar, which honestly I cannot wait to film that video and to use the prompts to help me pick books for next month. So that's super exciting. We've got a good chunk of reading done today, and we did start the book nook. We got very little of the book nook done as I completely underestimated the amount of brain power that it was going to take for me to make the book nook. I'm definitely going to be recruiting my husband to help me do it because there were so many steps. I've really enjoyed spending the day with you today. These are my favourite type of self-care days, honestly. Just relaxing, reading and doing all the bookish things. It just brings me so much joy, and I'm so glad that I was able to take you along with me today. If you did enjoy this video, I would love for you to like, comment and subscribe and stick around because I have a feeling we're going to be doing a lot more of this. I actually do have a cozy bookish day out planned soon where we're going to go book shopping and do some cozy bookish things outside of the house, so please do subscribe if you want to see more of that. And if you've got this far into the video, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one.